Hello and welcome to a short tutorial. I'm going to show you how you can use a basic temperature, humidity, or the temperature. No. Hello and welcome to a short tutorial. In this video, I'm going to show you how can you. Fuck off. Hello and welcome to a short tutorial. In this video, I would like to show you how you can use a float or integer value like temperature or humidity and map that to a string to show a status, like if it's okay, the temperature or not, or if it's too high or too low. This also works for CO2 monitoring because at a certain level of CO2 in the air is bad and you want to maybe show this on your screen. So we take this LHD65 device here, one of those amazing devices here with the Datacake sticker or not. We go into the configuration of that device on Datacake. Then we scroll down a little bit. First of all, we see the payload decoder. And of course, that what we do now could also be done on the payload decoder, but I show you now a way how you could do that with the fields section here in our database. So these are the fields. We can see we have battery here, temperature for the probe that you attach to the LHT65, and also the temperature of the internal sensor and the humidity. So let's, first of all, maybe we start with the battery. So let's assume you have the battery here and you want to know the status, but you don't want to see it from the voltage. You want to say if it's okay, if it needs replacement or not okay, or charged, whatever. So at the end of this field section, you see these dots here. You press on that, and then you can define or add mapping fields. Mapping fields take the original field as an input and perform an action on that, and then forward that into the new field. So we select string in here, and the name is battery status. It automatically creates the identifier. You can override that if you want. So we don't want to supply a unit because it's a string. So what it now does is that the only available mapping type here is a lookup table, because we want to take this numerical values and put that into a string. So then we define some, like 3 different strings in here. If it is below or equal 3 volts, let's say, or let's say 2.5, for example, we say that the battery is low. Okay, if it's below or 3.5, we can say the battery is moderate. And if it's above 3.5, we say the battery is okay. So you can see the scaling here. So it says, okay, when it's in that range, it's battery moderate. When it's in that range, it's battery okay. And when it's below 2.5, it's battery low. So we add these fields. And we can see here, okay, there is the mapping field created. And we now could wait for the next data to arrive, but we could also simulate that. So we go into the original field, press on set value, and we put in the 2998 once more. We set this, and it goes to battery moderate. And now we can use that field, the mapping field, on the dashboard. So we scroll up, go to the dashboard from that device. Then we press on the edit mode, and we now have access to temperatures, the battery somewhere here. So we create a new widget. We choose the value widget, and the device and field that we are going to select is the battery status. And it says battery moderate. Yeah, that's what we want to do. We press on save, and then we simply, can move that somewhere where it also would be a little bit nicer, but we leave it like that. And so exit the edit mode, and then you can see, okay, the battery moderate mapping field that we just created is now on the dashboard itself. So this works with all the other fields as well. You could use like a temperature and then add a lookup table in here simply by going into the temperature, into the field section, onto the temperature, then add another mapping field, the lookup table, you define the temperature breakpoints, and then it brings out a string, and then it's shown on the dashboard. Of course, you could also do this in the payload decoder in code directly, but sometimes it's easier to use a mapping field for that. Also, last but not least, one thing that I would like to show you, which is using mapping fields for scaling and also for moving different value ranges. So once more, we go to the temperature, and in here, it's I think it starts at 4 volts and goes down to 2.5 or something like that. So let's assume we want to see this as a percentage. It makes no sense because they are using some lithium energy batteries, and the discharge curve is not linear. It just goes all the way and then it falls down. So, but we can just use that for a showcase. So once more, we we create a new mapping field, and now we set this to linear scale. We leave it to float. We could also use integer here and call this battery percentage, for example. So the unit also is percentage in this case. Now we need to define the source, and it's from. So it starts at 4 volts, and it goes down to 2 point. No, it's the wrong one. It goes from 2.5 to 4 on top. So 2.5 is 0% and 4 is 100%. And then you can see this linear scaling here. We can also apply an offset there, and we can use boundaries. Boundaries is like when it is at 4.1 volts, for whatever reason, it doesn't go to 110%, or if it's below 2.5, it doesn't go below, so negative percentage values. So it binds that to, limits that from 0 to 100%, so to the target that you define here. Once more, we're all set. We press on add field, and then the battery percentage field will be added here. So if we set this value now, 2.9, we set this, it calculates, okay, 33%. And once more, we can go into the dashboard, edit mode, go in here. Yeah, let's multiply this one here so we don't need to create a new one. We can move this up here, and we select device the battery percentage. Also, it's percentage, and the gauge, we can set this to 0 to 100. We press on save, and if we want, we could also show the gauge in here. Exit the edit mode, and then the battery percentage that we calculated based on a single value is now on the dashboard itself. You can also apply rules and all the other things on that. You could use payload decoder once more again here, but it makes more sense to use the mapping fields. Also, you are way faster if you use the mapping fields in here, and then you can see what you've done here, and you can apply some changes in there. Yeah, that's it. That's how we use mapping fields with our field section, in our field section, to define some additional things in here. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.